Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ban with Retro Handhelds, or I mean, as you get it by now, it's Ban's hands. And today we're going to be doing a first look and impressions of the PowKiddy RGB10X. Right now, you can grab this off of PowKiddy's website for $39.99, but if you wait just like 3 weeks, you'll find AliExpress's like 4th sale, and you could probably get it for less. It's a pretty standard PowKiddy box. Says the name, says the model. On the side, it actually has 6 different colors, but right now, at least, you can only buy 3 of them off the website, and that's gray, transparent black, and yellow. If it were me and all 6 of these eventually came out, I would personally be looking for that transparent white. Out of the gate, you get the RGB10X manual. It's kind of like one of those old style roadmap manuals, but as long as it gets the job done, that's really all anyone can ask for. Underneath that, you get the system. One purple USB Type A to USB Type C cable. So when it comes to the PowKiddy RGB10X, you've already seen this before. It's a Rock chip RK3326, which means it has the Mali G31 MP2 GPU. It has 1 GB of RAM, and on this one, it has a 640 by 480 4x3 IPS display. The one in this one specifically, this one has a 2800 milliamp hour battery, and there's no way to like pop off the back just to get it. That means it's actually smaller than the V10 battery by like 200 milliamp hours. Considering it's an RK3326, I doubt you'll notice much in terms of battery life difference. Now, I'm not going to be doing like a full size comparison, but what I did want to do at least was compare the coloring on the V10 and the RGB10X, because these were both labeled as gray on the box. If you ask me, they're definitely more of a beige. What's nice is that they're pretty similar to each other. On the bottom, you have the USB Type-C OTG port next to the 3.5mm jack. On the left, you have, well, it's upside down, but you have the OS card for the TF slot. And on the right, you have the SD card slot for your games. On the top, you're met with your charging port, USB Type-C, the reset button, volume up and down, which that one does not have. And then you've got the power button. Looking around at controls, usual A, B, X, Y, a nice little D-pad, L1, R1, L2, R2. It's all inline to keep it nice and thin, because honestly, it is pretty pocketable, just like the original RGB10. That's quick. Linux handheld console. You don't say. Looks like it's running ArkOS 2.0. So they definitely didn't ask for if they could use it, but if you ask me, I like ArkOS more. I would highly recommend just being wary of the actual install. Looks like you've got quite a bit going on here. Thing is, it's an RK3326. That means more than likely you know what this one's capable of. If you ask me, I kind of prefer these inline shoulder buttons over the V10, though it's still going to be more comfortable as well. So you've got, in my opinion, better shoulders, better ergonomics. If this one does well and it has like a pretty good setup, I could see this being a better choice than the V10. With that being said, though, you do have to make the decision. Do you want a 4x3 screen, or do you want the 3x2 screen on the V10? The original RGB10 actually had a 3x2 screen. The original RGB20, which the V10 is very similar to, also had a 3x2 screen. Why this one does not have a 3x2 screen, I'm not entirely sure. It's a little disappointing because the small form factor, kind of reminiscent of like the 351p, the original RGB10, like it would have been so much nicer to have a 3x2 screen. But that's kind of why, instead of testing Sonic Advance, well, I've pulled up Sonic and Knuckles. Because, well, if you play a 3x2 screen, you're going to end up with some of those black bars. Everything seems to be running all right, which I would kind of hope, given that it's ArkOS on a 3326 handheld. That just means you're going to get pretty much up to PS1. you might get a little bit more than that, but honestly, anything past that, I would just purely consider a bonus. The D-pad is actually pretty nice. I know I said that about the PowKiddy V10 as well. Over time, as you kind of use it, I found that the V10's upper left diagonal kind of gave me some issues. So we'll have to see if the same thing happens here. Start and select are a bit clicky, but that's fine. They probably put PSP games on here that they assume will run, but honestly, I wouldn't really go much past that. Let's see if I can get... I know that last time I did this with a handheld, I put Sonic Advance on here. Okay, so it looks like they're stretching it for this one. It isn't a bad thing, but for those of you that do not like stretching your screens, you're going to end up wanting to adjust that yourself. The screen is really nice though. There is no sound coming out of this left side. All of your sound is coming out right out of these two sets of slits, not dual firing speakers. It actually sounds pretty good regardless. Do I think that the RGB10X is going to be a good handheld? Yeah, I think it'll be fine for most people. RK3326, $40, right around the same price as the R36S, the V10, Magic X, XU Mini. Now that we know it's also a 3326, if you spend a little more, then you start touching on to the H700 devices from Ambernic, the 28XX, the 35XXH. Then at that point, you're spending money, more money. Overall, I think it's a good device if you want to spend under $50. If you looked at the market even just last year, like October even, the market under $50 was mostly made up of like, here's the PowKiddy V90, or you'd get other all-winner F100 CS handhelds. So now that the market is just expanding like this, I think it's a lot better. I think most people would be satisfied with this if they just wanted PS1 or under. I mean, even when I joined the handheld scene, that was all I wanted at the time. I just wanted PS1 and under. Keep an eye out on the YouTube channel. You'll likely see something from Stubbs. You'll likely see something from Zoo. Who knows? Maybe you'll even see something from me. But if you go check out the RH website, you will definitely see me putting this into a review. This is a promising handheld, and outside of the big ol' X on the back, I'm initially pretty happy with it. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. And that's been Ban. And there you go.